In 1942, a forest ranger stumbled upon something impossible: hundreds of skeletons. Frozen in time, scattered around a lake 3 miles above sea level. But here's what makes your blood run cold. They didn't all die at the same time. Some died 1,000 years apart, and DNA testing just proved that some of them shouldn't even exist here. This is Roopkund. Locals call it Skeleton Lake. 16,500 feet up in the Indian Himalayas. The year is 1942, and British Forest Ranger H.K. Madwell is doing a routine patrol when he sees something glinting in the ice. He gets closer. It's a skull, then another, then hundreds more. World War II is raging. The British immediately think Japanese invasion, secret mountain route, military disaster. They send investigators, but when they examine the bones, something's wrong. These aren't soldiers. The remains are centuries old. Whoever these people were, they died long before anyone alive could remember. For decades, Roopkund was just a disturbing curiosity, a weird footnote in Himalayan exploration. Scientists threw around theories: maybe medieval soldiers, maybe an epidemic, maybe ritual suicide. Nobody really knew. Nobody really cared. Just another unsolved mystery gathering dust in academic journals. Then, in 2019, everything changed. A team of scientists decided to extract DNA from 38 skeletons. What they found broke every assumption we had. Not one catastrophe, not one group of people, not even one time period. The results were so bizarre, so impossible, that they had to run the tests 3 times to believe it. Group A died between the 7th and 10th century. South Asian ancestry, probably pilgrims on a sacred journey. That made sense, but Group B, they died 1,000 years later, between the 1600s and 1900s, and their DNA told a story that shouldn't be possible. These people came from the Mediterranean, from Crete, from the other side of the world. Stop and think about that for a second. We're talking about people from Greece, from Crete, traveling to one of the most remote lakes on Earth. No roads, no guidebooks, 3 miles straight up, in an era before GPS, before tourism, before anyone even knew this place existed. Why? How? The scientists had no answer, but the locals did. They'd always had an answer, an old song passed down for generations. It tells of King Jastival of Kanauj, traveling with his pregnant queen and a massive entourage, a pilgrimage to honor the goddess Nanda Devi. But the king was arrogant. He brought dancers, music, celebration to a sacred mountain, and the goddess ... was not pleased. The legend says Nanda Devi sent a storm, but not rain, not snow. Iron balls from the sky, hard as stone, big as your fist. Hail. When forensic scientists examined the skulls, they found something that made them pause. Circular fractures, all on the tops of heads and shoulders. Deep cracks from blunt force trauma. No defensive wounds on arms. No broken legs from falling. These people didn't die fighting. They didn't die climbing. They were hit repeatedly from above by something round, hard, and falling at terminal velocity. The injury pattern matched exactly what you'd expect from man. I know how insane this sounds: giant hailstones. In an open field, with nowhere to hide, they were pummeled to death from the sky. But here's where it gets darker. The Mediterranean group died 1,000 years later. Same lake, same remote location, different century, different people, different DNA. So either this was the unluckiest place on Earth, or something else was drawing people here again, and again, and again. The lake sits on the route of the Nanda Devi Raj Jota, brutal pilgrimage that happens every 12 years even today. Pilgrims trek for weeks through some of the most dangerous terrain on the planet to honor the mountain goddess. Roopkund is one of the only water sources for miles at that altitude. You have to stop there. You have no choice. But pilgrims from India, that tracks. Pilgrims from the Mediterranean. That's where every rational explanation collapses. Stable isotope analysis showed the Mediterranean group grew up at sea level, eating coastal diets. They weren't local guides. They weren't merchants who'd lived in India for years. They came from across the world to die at this specific lake. Theory 1. A covert religious expedition. Maybe early Christians attempting some kind of interfaith pilgrimage. Maybe a diplomatic mission that was never recorded. They travel in secret, hit bad weather, and die before anyone knows they're missing. Their bodies freeze. The evidence vanishes. Until now, Theory 2. Mercenaries. European fighters hired by Indian rulers traveling through mountain passes for military campaigns. It's the 1600s, 1700s, the Age of Empire. Soldiers of fortune went everywhere. Maybe this group was headed to a conflict we've never heard of. Maybe they were scouts. Maybe they got lost. Maybe someone wanted them lost. Theory 3, and this is where it gets weird and esoteric: cult. Some fringe spiritual group seeking enlightenment in sacred, remote places, deliberately going where no one goes. Performing rituals we'll never understand. They leave no records because secrecy is the point, and Roopkund, it might have been their destination. Or their punishment. None of these theories have proof. Not one historical document mentions a Mediterranean group in the Himalayas during this period. The DNA doesn't lie, but the archives are silent. It's like these people were erased from history, or never existed in history, until a lake 16,000 feet up spat out their bones and forced us to ask, what don't we know? Let's go back to the hailstorm, because even that has problems. Forensic experts say yes, the injury pattern fits, but hailstones big enough to crack skulls. That requires a freak weather event, perfect storm of altitude, temperature, and atmospheric conditions. It's rare, but not impossible. It's happened before. JUST, never with this many witnesses, because none of them survived. But what if the hailstorm story is a cover? What if someone wanted these deaths hidden? What if the circular skull fractures came from weapons, not weather? Clubs, maces, a coordinated massacre disguised as an act of God. The problem? There are no defensive wounds, no signs of a fight, no evidence of a battle. Just people struck down from above, unable to protect themselves. So we're left with the hailstorm. The legend was right. Against all odds, the old songs told the truth. A goddess angered, a storm unleashed, death from the sky. Science confirmed what folklore preserved, but it only explains one group, one era. The Mediterranean people remain ghosts, unexplained, unconnected, unless Roopkund itself is the answer. Not cursed, that's superstition, but geographically lethal, a perfect storm zone. A bottleneck on a sacred route where weather turns apocalyptic without warning. Multiple groups, across multiple centuries, made the same fatal calculation. We can make it through. They couldn't. The mountain doesn't care who you are or where you're from. Or maybe, and this is the theory that keeps researchers up at night, maybe Roopkund was known, a place of ritual death, a site where people came deliberately to die or to dispose of their dead. Some Himalayan cultures practice sky burial, exposure of bodies to the elements. What if this lake served that purpose? What if every skeleton isn't a victim, but a pilgrim who reached exactly where they wanted to be? In the 20th century, trekkers and researchers removed many of the skeletons, disturbed the site, took samples, contaminated the evidence. What we have now is incomplete. The full picture is gone forever. Modern scientists are working with fragments of a story that might have hundreds of chapters. Each bone they test opens new questions. Each answer reveals deeper mysteries. Today, the Indian government restricts access to Roopkund. The lake is protected, partially to preserve what's left, partially because it's become a macabre tourist attraction. People want selfies with the skeletons, want to walk where ancient people died. The mystery has become mythology again, and maybe that's appropriate. Maybe some questions aren't meant to be answered. But here's what we do know. Roopkund proves that history is not what we think it is. That people traveled farther, connected more, died in stranger ways than any textbook admits. Those Mediterranean travelers, whoever they were, they made it to the roof of the world. They crossed impossible distances, and they died together, frozen in time, waiting for us to find them. The biggest conspiracy isn't about cover-ups or hidden massacres. It's simpler and more terrifying. It's that we don't know, with all our technology, all our DNA analysis, all our forensic science, we still cannot explain why. Mediterranean people died at a Himalayan lake in the 1700s. We can prove they existed. We can prove they died. We cannot prove why they were there. And maybe that's the real story of Roopkund, not the deaths, the silence, the way history can swallow entire groups of people and leave only bones and questions, the way the mountains keep secrets better than any government, the way some mysteries don't want to be solved. They want to stay mysteries forever. 3 groups, 2 eras, 1 impossible lake, hundreds dead. No complete answers, just legends, bones, and DNA that rewrites what we thought we knew about human history. The next expedition to Roopkund is being planned right now. More skeletons are still frozen in the ice. More secrets are waiting. More questions will emerge, which means we haven't reached the end of this story. We're in the middle, and the next chapter, it might rewrite everything. It might confirm the hailstorm. It might reveal the Mediterranean connection. It might prove something we haven't even considered yet. The only certainty is this: Skeleton Lake is not finished with us. So, what do you think happened? Freak weather disaster, secret cult, covered-up massacre, time loop of death? Drop your theory in the comments, because here's the truth. Your guess is as good as the scientists'. Nobody knows, nobody can know. And that's what makes Roopkund the most haunting place on Earth. If you want to dive deeper into this mystery, I've linked the actual DNA study in the description. And if you think this is wild, wait until you see what we're covering next week. Hit subscribe so you don't miss it, because reality, it's stranger than any conspiracy theory.